Good morning, kids. Today we're checking out a brand new video from Prog about, new and rare Pokemon type combinations. So let's hop in and check it out.
Hey everyone, Brandon here. There are certain
What
type
up, Brandon?
combinations that are exclusively held by Pokemon forms, such as alternate forms, megas, and regional forms.
So wouldn't it be cool
True.
to have completely original Pokemon fill
Hold on, folks. And we're back, sorry.
those type combinations instead?
Hey,
Oh, by the
True
way,
Green
hey guys,
7.
Ron here.
Oh, well hello there, Ron True Green 7.
How's it going, Brandon Pragmagic?
There are some of these type combinations I have yet to touch on this channel. It would be really cool to have a fellow Fakemon savant like yourself help us fill some of these slots with your incredible work.
And how about over on my channel, you and I do the same thing, but for the type combinations that we have yet to actually see in the franchise.
Sounds like a plan to me,
Ooh.
so make sure to go check out both videos in this meeting of Fakemon
double
minds.
episode
Also, make sure to
special.
like and subscribe to both of our channels if you love Fakemon content. Anyway, I'll let Ron start us off with the Fire Electric type.
Rotom Heat was our first and only introduction to the Fire Electric type, which is a shame because there's some real amazing potential here. Brandon and I both agreed a very
Bit of a
solid pick
shame,
for this
yeah.
typing would be Loris Surge from my first Fakemon region, Asoan. Loris Surge's entire line is based on the slow Loris, these timid and sluggish primates. I thought it would be clever to create a family that was the complete opposite. A super active Loris whose movements generate electricity and fire. It's now an
Nice.
apex predator with a ton of tiger in him. But my favorite thing about Loris Surge is his signature move, Burning Thunder. It's basically Thunderbolt, but with a chance to burn the opponent instead of paralyzing.
Not
This is
bad.
one of my favorite Asonian Pokemon. The action displayed through this pose and the concept of an exercising Pokemon transferring that energy into fire and electricity is phenomenal. But let's move on to a Pokemon I had made exclusively for this video, because I thought it would be fun to design a Fire Ice type and I've never attempted it before. The only
What
Pokemon
you
with this
got?
typing is Galarian Darmanitan, and only in its Zen mode. It's a form on top of a form. But for an original Pokemon, I present you with Oxymore, who I worked with Malmistex to create. Eels might not have been your first thought when imagining a Fire Ice type.
Oxymore. It's an oxymoron, but it's also a moray eel.
But hear me out on this one. This Pokemon combines two types of eels, the Snowflake Moray Eel and the Fire Eel, which by itself would just be an okay concept, but Moray Eels actually have within them the ability to make hot things feel cold and cold things feel hot. This is because of a special kind of toxin found within them called Ciguatoxin, that when
Damn.
consumed gives you the illness Ciguatera, which among other symptoms reverses the feeling associated with temperature. Oxymore, with its motherly appearance, makes reference to a Melanesian creature called Abaya, an enormous eel that views
Ooh.
all life within the lake it resides in as its children, and will fiercely protect them. Oxymore
I
reflects
like
this in its
that.
attitude as well, acting warm and motherly to Pokemon that share a pond with it, and acting frigid and unrelenting to those that would do them harm. Oxymore's name is a mix of oxymoron, which fire and ice coming together can be seen as, and moray.
Well, other than the name literally being perfect, the colors and shapes within this Pokemon contrast perfectly with each other, further
gotta agree
emphasizing
with you
the
guys.
contrasting types.
I appreciate that, Ron. Switching gears a bit, we have the Electric Psychic type, which is taken by Alolan Raichu. While this adorable little pancake muncher is great, Ron and I both have other ideas.
Pancakes.
My entry is more so an honorable mention in this case, as it is an evolution which is technically a new Pokemon, but Ron will handle the actually original one. Anyway, my honorable mention is an evolution to Regieleki called Regineuron I made for a video earlier this year, in which I gave all the Regis dual-typed evolutions.
I remember
It is
that.
shaped like a brain, but also
I like
a
that
neuron,
video.
to reflect the small electrical signals that send information through our brain. Much the same as the internet and the information age which this is meant to reference, with Regineuron able to control the flow of information in a hypothetical apocalyptic Pokemon world.
Dual-type Regi-evolutions is certainly an interesting concept, and the idea of the brain and its synapses playing into the electric psychic type is the kind of educational background I love implementing into my designs. But I had more of a music-based idea when I made the Beconduct line. Beconduct is this vampire bat mixed with 18th century composers and 80s glam rockers. It has glowing fingers that
Okay, I
extend
can
to
see
look
that.
like both glow sticks and a baton. They basically strum the air to manipulate electricity in order to create mesmerizing music. It hypnotizes its audience so that it can consume their cheers and applause. The pre-evolved form, Devotee, is the manifestation of
Aww.
a die-hard fangirl. They worship their talented evolved form, even attacking those who threaten Beconduct. Their cheers sustain Beconduct in this cycle of worship.
An orchestral rocker bat that drains its audience's energy? That's metal as hell!
Actually, it's electric psychic, not steel.
Oh, no,
Ba,
I
ba,
meant...
fun.
Anyway, let's move on to another electric type with the Electric Grass type. which is yet another one exclusively owned by a Rotom form. What's up with Rotom taking all these cool type combos? For this entry, we have yet another evolution of mine. I should like to give electric types new evolutions, don't I? Well, a video full of that was when I gave every Pika clone an evolution to match up with Pawmi. So here is Pachirisu's evolution, Pachikiba. This electric grass type is inspired by the Norse mythological creature Retatoskr, a squirrel that runs up and down the world tree Yggdrasil, delivering messages between Vedrfolnir up top and Nidhogg at the base. Retatoskr is depicted as green and associated with trees, so I thought it would make for a fitting grass type.
Yeah,
just like Retatoskr, Pachikiba zips up and down trees, expeditiously hunting for berries.
Referencing Norse mythology with a Pachirisu evolution is definitely a fun take. Reminds me of my Pachirisu evolution, Barisu.
Oh, you mean the one you made a few months after I made mine?
On to a completely different note, we have Poison Psychic, which Galarian Slowbro and Slowking own exclusively.
So, I mean, he was straight up just like, oh, you mean the one, like, moving on? They didn't want to bring that up.
Ron, how exactly do we handle this type combination? I haven't touched it, and it's pretty unique.
Neither have I. How about I make one? Right now. For this video.
Sounds incredible to me.
Perfect.
True Greens have an original on my channel? Holy crap.
What was that, Brandon?
Oh, I said we're gonna have to be truly original. How about a cat?
Actually, you might be onto something there. Let me look at this further.
Oh, wow, really? Okay. Can't believe that worked.
Aha! So I found the perfect inspiration.
Can't believe that. What?
Toxoplasmosis.
Toxo what now?
Oh,
Toxoplasmosis. It's a parasitic infection that is commonly transferred to humans via cats. Up to half of the world asymptomatically has it after coming in contact with like cat poop, uncooked food, or other mammals. While it's a very serious disease, the media has basically perpetuated the idea that it's responsible for the crazy cat lady stereotype. So now it's basically a myth that toxoplasmosis causes people to go crazy and adopt cats. So this myth that cats use a toxic disease that makes you want to care for them would totally work for a hypnotic poison type.
No, the cats don't use it. The cats are just an accidental host to it. And you see, the creatures are infected by it and somehow become allured by the smell of cat urine, so they want to go around it, and which leads mice to death and leads to people adopting more and more cats, so they're constantly around the smell. Well, it has nothing to do with the cats wanting humans to control them. Cats kind of don't like humans. Some do, but not all.
The manifestation of which would be Feralove, the toxic Pokemon. I made it the embodiment of toxic love and general intoxication. It's a stray cat that hypnotizes trainers using its toxic pheromones. They end up adopting Feralove, who takes advantage of their hospitality. They're able to make others feel the pain and pleasures that it feels.
Give over the bird. 24/7.
Be right back. And we're back.
Love is such a great name and concept, and totally relatable. I feel like many of us as a kid have that shared experience of falling in love with a street cat, bringing it home, and then our parents saying we can't keep it. Also, there are tons of fun little details to notice, like the hidden hearts and the 1920s flapper aesthetic it's got going on too. It looks both fancy and dirty. It lures you in with its seemingly refined look when in reality it is extremely toxic in every sense of the word. Also, I had never heard of toxoplasmosis before. Like you, I love learning about things through Fakemon.
Well, why don't we keep this toxic train rolling?
Oh, maybe we shouldn't talk about toxic trains. I get visions of ukuleles and overdrawn lipstick.
Probably a good call.
I'm sorry,
but to rinse our brains, how about we get a healing potion from my fairy poison type, Madama, a Pokemon I made a few years ago. It's basically the Chansey of my Ason region, but way more dangerous, since it's based on the Shamaran, a half-woman, half-snake that is very knowledgeable about both medicines and poisons.
Okay.
A perfect inspiration for a fairy poison type. I basically interpreted that myth as these conjoined twins, one half that heals and the other that destroys. They keep each other at check.
I love how you managed to take two types that are seemingly at odds with each other and give them a sisterly bond. It's very Ami and Yumi coded.
Ah, true. Or the Oracle twins from American Dragon Jake Long.
Ooh, Princess Bubblegum and Marceline.
Okay, we can do the whole goth and girly girl sister trope all day. Although the last one wasn't entirely sisterly.
Yeah, no.
Let's get back to Fakemon, shall
Moving
we?
on.
That's fair. Well, speaking of types that seemingly oppose each other, what's better than normal ghost? Natural versus supernatural, which is held by the fan-renowned Hisuian Zora and Zorark. Before these forms were even a twinkle in the community's eye, I introduced my concepts for normal ghost types, Wofi and Rugrath. These two are based on trophy hunts, the mounting of their heads and the typical bear rug. These Pokemon are the spirits of those trophies, which have come back to possess the household decorations they have become. with Wolfie just being so sad to be in the state it's in, then evolving into Rugrats, which is more than ready to take revenge on those who hunted it.
I mean, taking a normal thing like furniture and
straight
having
like,
it
"I'm a
become
cook."
possessed feels like a great way to go. Really mashes together the natural and supernatural, like you said.
Thanks, I feel the same. Next up, we have the Fairy Dragon type, which only Mega Altaria has. With Mega Evolution having been gone for 2 generations now, this type combo
It
has
has
been
been
locked
gone
in
for a
Mega
while.
Jail. So I have a few fantastical dragons that I can share here. First up, we have Fei Long, which was actually an Emojimon that Justed Art did using emojis my audience gave them, and I reacted to its creation. It definitely exudes that fairy typing, and its long body is not just what its name references. Long or lung is a common ending to names of dragons in Chinese mythology, which I just realized is why that's Jake Long's last name. After that, we have Dragarif, a new
Okay.
evolution to Dragonair that follows the evolutionary line a bit closer than Dragonite. Keeping in the realm of fantasy, we have the Ice Fairy type, which is held by none other than the gorgeous Alolan Ninetales. Eurosonian Luxray
is
kind of works for
beautiful.
this, right?
True, but since it's another regional form instead of an entirely new Pokemon, we can consider it an honorable mention. I'll let the audience know its deal while you whip up a completely new Ice Fairy type. So, Asonian Luxray basically takes the entire myth of lynxes being able to see into a person's soul, so I made a Luxray that can look into a person's spirit instead of having X-ray vision. It allows it to see
Literally.
any living being, even in the densest blizzards.
That is truly such a gorgeous and elegant Pokemon. Like you said though, it does kind of go against the point a bit, otherwise I would have put my Cornerian Dedenne and its evolution Dependre here. So to contribute something completely new, I also worked with my good buddy Malmistex to bring to life a brand new Pokemon. So let me introduce you to Frostbrite. So for an Ice Fairy type, I figured what better to do than literally translate that, an Ice Fairy. A fairy tale I thought would work perfectly for this concept is that of the Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen, which is the basis for the
that's
movie my
classic.
daughter has watched approximately 15 bajillion times, Frozen. In the original telling of the story, the Snow Queen doesn't exactly control the snow, but instead controls these tiny little creatures called snow bees. And what are sprites but tiny little bug-like creatures? So I decided to mix elements of the Snow Queen herself with these snow bees to make Frostbrite. Its name obviously comes from frost and sprite, but also sounds like frostbite.
Yeah, I'm sure Elsa would love to have that on her team.
Definitely, but this isn't one of those kinds of videos, though you have many.
Plugging more of my videos into your video? What's the catch?
Well, I was kinda hoping you'd take this last one, Ice Steel, which is a Alolan Sandslash's type.
Oh, well, no problem. I got the perfect entry for this
Done.
one, and it's a legendary Pokemon too. Makog from the Ason region. To fully understand this Pokemon, you gotta know that in the Bible, there's this apocalyptic prophecy where Gog and Magog would attack during the end times. But there's much debate about what Gog and Magog are. Are they entire nations or 2 strong individuals? Well, I said, why not both? I made 2 gigantic ape legendaries that represent 2 ancient invading cultures. One of these reckless twins is Makog, an ice steel legendary based on the Vikings and macaques. It's part of this legendary
Nice.
duo that attacked the capital of my old region during ancient times.
Well, I would certainly say that's a legendary end to the video.
So, can I go now? I have other Fakemon to make for the video on my channel.
Oh, yeah, sure. Everyone should definitely go follow Ron over to his channel where you can see us talk about Pokemon with
I think I'll check out that video in my own time. But anyway, folks, thank you all for joining me in today's video. Oh, remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. And I'll see all you folks next time. Oh, link to the original will be in the description below. And I'll see all you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.